Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the DX Gamer Show. My name is Mike, aka Operation DX, and welcome to episode 24, where we are continuing where we left off in the previous episode. So I just landed down my craft that is scanning and getting good details, but we just discovered that we are actually getting pretty much the best resources that we're going to get on Minmus, which is okay. It's all good because the percentage isn't too bad. It's like 4 or 5% with the 5 drills, and it seems to be doing quite well. And like I said, I think 10% is the highest you can get anyways, so it's all good. It appears that I have not been to this location or this biome yet, so I'm actually going to collect a little bit of science. And I'm going to do what I said I was going to do in the previous episode, which I'm going to take that science up to the processing lab and let the scientists do their thing, and that will probably give me a little extra science. And then again, we are still on the new naming convention for the flags, so I don't have to worry about the absolute ridiculous names that I've named my other flags. Alright, so pretty much just 5%, calling it what the biome is, and yeah, miner's cracking away. It's pretty much full, I think. So what we're going to do is we are going to get Jeb back in the lander spacecraft transport. I don't even know what I think I named it transport module. And we are going to go ahead and launch our mining vessel back up to orbit and dock with the space station and transfer a lot of that ore, and then it's pretty much just gonna sit there and burn off a lot of the ore until it needs to move. It needs to move on, that kind of thing. We'll pretty much land it back down here and collect some more resources. So I don't know if it works like it does in Keithane, which I kind of hope it doesn't. I kind of hope these resources in these locations are like permanent and they never go away. I know that's kind of like not realistic, but I kind of hope that that's how it behaves. Anyway, got to speed up time here to get my station relatively close to where I am, and then I'll go ahead and launch up into orbit and get all docked up and good stuff. I will speed things up this time, even though I do like to show those dockings. I do enjoy it. It's the third time I've said that. I know. I'm less worried, though, on this one. I don't have to be so concerned about shutting my drills down and retracting my drills because we are on a relatively flat surface. Although, I think if this craft did, in fact, tilt over on Minmus, I'm still not sure if I would have the ability to get it back upright. So that would be a disaster. But I don't think we have to worry about it, honestly. So retracting the drills, get a little flex, just a teeny tiny flex in those landing struts. So that's okay. And then I always retract these panels just to make sure, you know, if the craft doesn't tilt too bad, because I don't want to break them. They're important for the functionality of this craft. Shutting down my fuel cells, and now I bet you guys are thinking again, why didn't you upgrade the VAB and have action groups for all of this stuff? Actually, action groups would have been fantastic for this craft, especially for turning off the drills and retracting the drills. That way, I could retract all of the drills at the same time, and I wouldn't worry about the flexing of the gear and tilting over and all that good stuff. Yeah, it wouldn't be such a problem or concern. All right, so lifting off, and I suspect that we are going to use far less fuel than we did when we took off from the moon. We actually spent a good deal of fuel, almost the entire load of fuel, and I hadn't realized that the ISRU unit was still actually running, so it was actually generating fuel while I was getting set up on a stable orbit around the moon. So that probably helped out a little bit. And here I'm still not used to the launch profile, but it doesn't really matter because I am essentially going to brute force my approach to the station. So that's what Scott Manley was saying in his other series. I couldn't remember in the previous episode. That's what it is. Brute forcing it. Yes, I'm going to brute force it. And it's absolutely okay. It's not the most efficient thing, I guess, but for Minmus, it's not such a big deal because, you know, we're not using a ton of fuel. So it's okay. We're not moving at very high speeds at all. So it's all good. So just kind of pushing my craft and getting it on the approach vector. I have the craft targeted, and I'm essentially doing the same thing that I've done for the past couple of dockings. Typically, before this, I would use the RCS, especially on lighter craft. I would use the RCS for my final approach and all that stuff, but I'm not doing that right now, and I don't know if I'm going to do that anymore, because it seems like it's more efficient to just do it this way. Just line up, not necessarily brute force it, but just line up, and then just kind of turn retrograde and just, you know, burn it off. It gives me a lot more control. I can slow down a lot faster, and I can approach a lot faster, which is time saving. Definitely a good thing. So yeah, for this episode, I don't think we're gonna get a ton more done. This is pretty much gonna be the primary mission for this episode. So I do apologize to the commenter that likes multiple things going on all at the same time. Perhaps I will work on that, because you know, I try to take some of these comments to heart, and you know, I want you guys to enjoy the series. That's my main thing, and that's pretty much the focus of my channel. I really like to cater to you guys and the subscribers and stuff. It's very important to me. Although you know, I was away for a really long time, so the statistics on my channel is really wonky right now. I'm not going to complain, because I appreciate every view that I get on these videos. I really do appreciate that. But yeah, my statistics have been just all over the place. Gaining subscribers, losing subscribers, gaining subscribers, losing subscribers. I don't know what's going on there. It's like, you know, maybe some of you have subscribed, you know, just to see those update videos, or, you know, I started to do reviews, but I kind of don't do reviews. And then some of you are here just for Kerbal Space Program, and then you've got the other guys that here pretty much to watch everything I do, which I also really appreciate. Getting sidetracked, as I typically do here, but we're still in slight accelerated time. It's not quite as accelerated as I normally do. If I really need to burn through something, I do it about 600% video speed. I use that in my editor. And then for less extreme stuff, I usually do about 400% video speed. For this one, I'm doing 300%, so I guess I'm trying to stretch this video out a little bit, because the mission is pretty much encompassing almost this entire episode, sadly. Now, before we do wrap things up, though, for this episode, we are going to go back to the launch center and start picking up some contracts, and I'm also going to hire some Kerbals. So, because we have Kerbals now that are permanently going to be stationed in the orbit of Minmus. They're pretty much running this facility. Some of them are getting science, and you know, Jeb's going to be doing this, and then Jeb may be going off and doing other stuff. I also may need to launch a module for my transport module craft, science package. So I might do something like that a little bit later, to add a science package to that, especially if I can get that thing interplanetary. But I'm probably going to build a proper interplanetary vessel that is going to need this station once it gets up into orbit of Kerbin, you know, because it's probably going to be heavy and all that stuff. And then maybe I'll actually take a look at some of those fairings, yeah? Because I haven't quite used them yet, so kind of check them out. I don't know. Maybe show, you know, maybe my next build for the next craft. But again, I've been spending a lot of time with the these craft. That's why I haven't really been showing the builds on some of the stuff, because sometimes, I don't know, I just go back and forth. I change my mind a lot, you know, move parts around and that kind of thing. And it's mostly just to, you know, spare you guys and try to keep things entertaining, which is very, very important to me. Anyways, so we are transferring off ore into the large tank, which I guess isn't all that necessary right now, because essentially this craft is just going to sit here and we're going to make fuel. I have that other docking port, so hopefully the interplanetary craft that I build will be able to use, I don't know, I've got the senior and I got the side one, so I'm not quite sure what's going to happen there. Anyways, stuff's going on here. Essentially what I do is I get this thing all filled back up. Oh, I actually show it. Okay, so I thought I cut this away, but actually I kept it in the video. So speeding up time here to 400% video speed, just so I can get through this. I know that this part probably isn't the most entertaining thing, but you know, it's got to be done. It's got to be done. So essentially refilling up my tanks, filling up my monopropellant. I'm now in the dark side of Minmus, so I'm turning on my fuel cells and all of that. Fortunately, I won't have to babysit this thing once it's all filled up. But fantastic, man. The station's doing exactly what I wanted to do. The ore seems to be relatively efficient, not super efficient as far as conversion. I don't know, I'm considering docking a second ISR unit. Anyways, back at the launch center, and I noticed something here. So when I got back to the launch center, I noticed the tip of my runway was damaged. And I was kind of thinking, like, wow, I'm surprised this hasn't happened to me earlier, because I've been launching a lot of craft, and I immediately kind of tilt my craft a little bit, but it does appear that one of the fuel tanks caught the end of the runway and caused damage. Fortunately, it didn't cost me very much at all to repair the damage. No, it did not. So here we are back in the launch center, and I'm picking up some contracts, and look at this. Holy crap. So there was a contract in here, and I don't know how long this contract was in here, but it was set up a station around Minmus. Ugh. What a freaking waste that was. Oh, man. Anyway, we have some interesting contracts in here that I am going to pick up. So we have set up a station at Duna, definitely doing that. We have a collect gravitational data from around Minmus, definitely going to do that since I'm all set up around there. We have a mission to go from Kerbin to Duna and back. I could do that, no problem. And then we have a mission to explore Paul and a mission to explore Jewel. We are headed in that direction in the near future anyways, so those contracts are just logical to pick up. All right, so this is a timed contract. This is also a timed contract with 12 years. This is not, which is good. I like these. This is not, and this is not. So the Jewel and the BOP mission are unlimited, which is fantastic. And did I say Paul earlier? I said Paul, so BOP. So Paul is the outermost moon. I think BOP is one in. And oops, I actually didn't want to go to that place. So the next thing I wanted to do is hire some Kerbals. We have 2 Kerbals sitting at the launch center right now. 1 pilot, 1 engineer. I don't often use the engineers. I want to hire another pilot for certain. Unfortunately, they are going to have no experience whatsoever. It's really nice to have that experience, but you know what? I have some of those techs that will allow them to use all those cool things that I like to use anyways, so no big deal. So I guess pick up another engineer and then 2 scientists would work. And then maybe I'll take one of the scientists with me on the Jewel mission. I don't know, we'll see. I gotta build myself a fancy craft. That is for certain. My interplanetary craft. Because I want to be able to come back and refuel and all that, and yeah. Alright, so we got a little bit of a crew going here. I'm probably going to have to upgrade this building sometime soon. And of course, all these guys are all on mission, and they're pretty much going to be, for the most part, permanently stationed, unless I move them around for some other reason. Anyways, that's going to wrap things up for this one. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time.